Thank you. And thank you, Mike. That was beautiful. And thank you to the IPR trustees for this extraordinary honor. I've been proud to serve as an IPR trustee for nearly 11 years, and I've seen the Institute flourish under the leadership, the remarkable leadership of Frank Oveit, and now the amazing Dr. Tina McCorkindale. Under their strong leadership and a very productive board, IPR gets amazing results with an incredibly small staff and budget. And we do this by keeping a laser-like focus on research that matters to the practice of public relations, and by engaging many of the best academic minds in the country, in the world. And if any of you were there at the symposium this afternoon, I think you saw some really good evidence of that. Mike Fernandez was the most recent recipient of the 18 recipients of the Alexander Hamilton Medal. And it's a list that includes some titans in the PR profession, many of them friends and mentors of mine, and all of them much more worthy of this honor, frankly, than I am. But one of the past recipients, Jack Felton, who we heard a little bit about from Charlotte, the longtime IPR president, when he became the fourth recipient of the Hamilton Medal, he said, "This Hamilton Medal is like receiving the Olympic gold to me." And I now understand what Jack meant, and it feels a little bit like the Oscars too, so I'm gonna just act like the Oscars winners do and thank some people. And I wanna start, because I'm really glad he's still here, tonight. I'm sorry. Well, Harold, if you were up here, you would say, at your age, you're glad to be anywhere. The second recipient of the Hamilton Medal in 1999, he has been for many years and still is my hero, my greatest mentor, and my treasured friend. And Harold, I just want to say thank you for teaching me to be a better PR practitioner. Thank you for teaching me how to be a trusted advisor to our clients who we value so much. Thank you for teaching me how to be a considerate and generous colleague to our people at every level of the organization and beyond. And also thank you about teaching me about how to be a good listener, which I think we both agree is one of the most important aspects of our work. And most of all, for teaching me about the importance of character and integrity in every aspect of our business. Our mutual friend and former colleague, Chris Komisarjevsky, a former IPR trustee, likes to quote Heraclitus on this topic. He said, "Character is destiny," and I believe that. My sainted grandmother, who my friends know that I quote a lot, she used to say, "Tell me your friends and I'll tell you who you are." And Harold, I want to just say you have epitomized character for generations of PR professionals, and I'm eternally grateful to be able to call you my friend. And and I also want to say that Grandma Woods would be smiling if she heard me say that too. I'm also grateful to the 7 Burson Marsteller CEOs who succeeded Harold and under whom I've served, especially Don Baer, who's with us tonight and who has been a great friend and mentor and colleague. I'm also immensely grateful for the deep and special relationships I've developed with thousands of Burson colleagues and clients around the world. And I've been privileged to serve many of these clients for my 27 years at Burson, and I thank them as well. Most of all, I want to dedicate this award to my wife, Pat, or PJ as I call her. She's everything to me. She's the love of my life, my best friend, my most important teacher, even more important than Harold. and my unwavering moral influence, my Polaris. She is always keeping me aligned with true north. So, PJ, thank you for that and for everything. And she just celebrated a birthday on Thanksgiving. In all my years on the IPR board, I've always been excited by the idea of the Hamilton Medal. Of course, Hamilton is all the rage these days, as Mike said, thanks to Lin-Manuel Miranda and the unprecedented success of Hamilton, the musical, which is playing a few blocks away, but don't try. But IPR was onto the magic of Alexander Hamilton before Manuel Miranda made it cool. As Shelley Spector, who's one of the founders of the Museum of Public Relations, and yes, we have a Museum of Public Relations here at Baruch College in New York, and I would encourage you to visit. She recently sent me a really interesting piece from a 1978 essay by Dr. Alan Nevins in the PR Review, which is a publication that was launched in 1975 by the Foundation for PR Research and Education, which eventually became IPR. Dr. Nevins described Hamilton as, quote, a born public relations man. I like that. A born master of persuasion by the spoken and written word. He cited another scholar from my alma mater, Rutgers, Professor Broadus Mitchell, who described the Federalist Papers, most of which, as Mike mentioned, were written by Hamilton, as, quote, the best job of public relations in history. So this recognition is doubly special, not only because I so admire IPR and all of the trustees that I serve with there, but also because Hamilton himself was the consummate PR expert among his many other achievements. In the Hamilton musical, in the wonderful opening song, the Hamilton character sings, "There are a million things I haven't done, but just you wait, just you wait." And that's how I feel tonight. While I appreciate that the IPR board's assessment of my modest accomplishments are worthy of this medal, I prefer to look ahead. I think we, not only I, but our entire PR profession, have much left to do. One need look no further than the coarse public discourse that characterized the US elections this year, and others around the world, to see that the role of public relations professional is more important today than ever. And I think, Charlotte, you made that point very eloquently. By that, I'm not just referring to the lightning-fast changes in technology or the 24/7 news cycles or the tectonic shifts in media, technology, and communications. I mean our much more important role to focus as much or more on behavior as we do on words. Not to be spin doctors or engage in what someone described as the bottomless mendacity that seems to be spreading in the so-called post-truth world. By the way, you'd be interested to know, Charlotte, that I learned the other day that post-truth was selected as the word of the year by Oxford Dictionaries. Really, it's come to that. Yes. In accepting this award, therefore, I will politely decline any praise for what I might have done in the past, and instead, with the validation from my peers and that this medal represents, I will focus instead on my pledge for the future. And the first element of that is I promise to work with all of you and with IPR and with the Arthur Page Society and with the PR Council and with the Planck Center for PR Leadership and with the Museum of Public Relations, with the LeGrand Foundation, with the PRSSA, with the PRSA, in short, with every organization and resource we have available in the PR profession to drive greater understanding and adherence to the values that we all have embraced in this profession. They are expressed well in the Page Principles, especially the first three of those. Tell the truth, prove it with action, listen to stakeholders. Tell the truth, prove it with action, listen to stakeholders. That's our mission. Second, I promise to pay it forward. As the PR profession continues to grow and encompasses more and more professionals from other disciplines, and as we bring up new generations that maybe look at the world a little bit differently from the way we do or we have, We also need to understand their special needs and respect their diverse perspectives. This means suspending our own personal agenda and defining our success on more than just our own personal achievements. And I would just say if I've tried to do anything in my career, it's been to really focus less on my own personal achievements and more on what I could do to enable clients or colleagues or other colleagues from around the profession and to make others be all that they can be. And so this is the example set by the likes of these Hamilton Medal winners, like Carol Burson and Betsy Plank, for two examples, who we need to dedicate ourselves more fully to mentoring young professionals in the tangible and intangible aspects of public relations. And the third and most important pledge that I make relates to something on which I've spent an enormous amount of time and commitment in recent years, and that's diversity and inclusion in the PR profession. I believe we've made genuine progress in the past few years in generating real change in mindset at the top levels of our field. I could see this in the entries for the PR Councils and PR Week's Diversity Distinction and PR Awards, for which I was happy to serve as a judge this year. But we've not done enough, and we are not moving fast enough. So saying we're committed to diversity and inclusion is just a platitude if we don't combine it with a bias for action. I'm passionate about this, and I know many of you are. And now, to quote those second and third page principles, we need to prove it with action, and we need to listen to our stakeholders, because the answers are there. To paraphrase Hamilton the musical, history has its eyes on us. And for my part, I will not consider my career successful unless we can all look back in 10 years and say we made this a reality. But just you wait. Just you wait. Thank you.